That may be the greatest catch I've ever seen in my life.
Alright guys, I am so excited to make this video. We are going to be talking about Antonio Gibson. Y'all know Antonio Gibson was a running back that I loved coming into the NFL. If you've been following the Fantasy Flock Network for a while, you most likely have Antonio Gibson on your team. So I am so excited to look into his dynasty outlook and if we think we need to be cashing out for a profit now or if we should be holding on for the entirety of his rookie contract. But before we get into the video, I know that there are probably a good amount of people watching this video given the fact that it's still during the NFL season. But if you are not playing Dynasty Fantasy Football, I am very sorry, but this video is not for you. This channel is not for you. Please only subscribe if you are playing Dynasty Fantasy Football or if you would like to get into a league and you plan on joining a league this offseason, because I'm not going to be covering anything else here other than Dynasty Fantasy Football. So really, please do not subscribe. You are going to be confused. You are going to go down to the comment section, not really understand what's going on. I want to make sure that everybody in this audience knows where we are. Alright, well, regardless, let's get into it now, and let's talk about Antonio Gibson. And y'all know the reason I loved Antonio Gibson coming into the NFL was due to that athletic profile. I know it's kind of a meme at this point with how much I talk about these running back athletic profiles, but really, it is so important when we are trying to evaluate these running backs for their Dynasty Fantasy Football outlooks, because the running back position is mainly determined on if you're going to be able to hit that hole, if you're going to be able to get up to your top speed and get past the secondary as fast as possible. That way you have that big play potential. So we need to see that athletic profile, and at the same time we need to see the receiving ability out of the backfield. The last thing we want is a first and second down grinder that we are going to significantly invest into in a PPR format, where even if that running back goes out there and is consistently rushing for 90 to 100 rushing yards a game, if they're not catching balls, their ceiling is going to be drastically limited, as well as their floor, because they're going to turn into touchdown or bust players, where we know if the running back's going to be able to go out there and see anywhere from 3 to 5 receptions a game and add on an extra 20 to 40 receiving yards, that is going to make it where he can jump up and be that elite option in fantasy football if he is also getting the usage on the ground. And that is everything that what we had with Antonio Gibson coming into the NFL out of Memphis. Yes, he did not necessarily have the workload at Memphis, but what he did have is he had that ability to go to the NFL Combine and completely destroy every other running back, putting him in a class of running backs like Saquon Barkley in terms of his athletic profile. And what was also extremely impressive from Antonio Gibson at the NFL Combine is the size that he came in and measured at, where we looked at his size and we kind of understood that Antonio Gibson, while he may not have been it at Memphis, can easily be a 3-down running back at the NFL level. So for all of those reasons, we loved Antonio Gibson. We laughed at all the film grinders that said Antonio Gibson couldn't run between the tackles. We laughed at everybody who said that Antonio Gibson wasn't a good Dynasty Fantasy Football asset because he had never played the running back position before, because we know what matters in Dynasty Fantasy Football at the running back position. What matters is your athleticism, your ability to catch the ball out of the backfield, and your size to be a 3-down running back. We know at the wide receiver position, it's all about that production in college. It's all about what you can do in terms of your yards after the catch, in terms of what you can do to create separation, where that's going to be a lot more technical, and where we can't really go to the NFL Combine and take a lot away from it. That's why I liked a wide receiver like CeeDee Lamb. That's why I liked a wide receiver like T. Higgins, where even if they did not have that elite athletic profile, they had exactly what we wanted, and that was production in college. You don't need that at the running back position. We know by now that the running back position is the easiest position in the entire NFL to learn. So Antonio Gibson coming into his rookie year, we are extremely excited. And honestly, Antonio Gibson has even surpassed my own expectations. We were all investing into Antonio Gibson, thinking that he was going to be very similar to David Johnson in his rookie season, where he really did not get the opportunity. He really did not make an impact until the very end of the season, because he spent the year really developing his skills as a running back, He spent the year making sure that he was going to be able to go out and in 2021 be a force for the Washington football team. Yet he's been in the mix right away, day one. I mean, mainly because Derrius Guice was kicked out of the NFL. Quick side note, y'all know during this summer I was saying Antonio Gibson was way more talented than Derrius Guice, and Antonio Gibson was going to take the job straight up. I wish it would have happened. I wish we would have seen Derrius Guice have to compete for it and Derrius Guice lose that battle, because I have never gotten any more heat on any of my takes ever than saying Antonio Gibson was a more talented running back than Derrius Guice. But here we are. I think we can all admit that if Derrius Guice was in this offense, Antonio Gibson would still be the man, averaging over 4.5 yards per carry so far in his rookie season, averaging almost 60 rushing yards a game, as well as over 20 receiving yards a game. Now, what's impressive about these marks is while on their own, they're not necessarily that great, but if you combine all of them, knowing that he's getting the volume on the ground, knowing that he's getting the volume through the air, and he's doing so with efficiency with that yards per carry, I think that Antonio Gibson profiles to be someone that is clearly going to be a 3-down workhorse running back throughout his entire NFL career. We know running back careers are a lot shorter than other players. Antonio Gibson maybe only has 3 years of this elite usage, but regardless, that's the case with every running back. And if we look at these filters and we look at over the past 10 years, what running backs were able to have over 4.5 yards per carry, that were able to have almost 60 rushing yards a game, and were able to have 20 receiving yards a game, this is the list: Ezekiel Elliott, Kareem Hunt, Saquon Barkley, Doug Martin, Dalvin Cook, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and Antonio Gibson. So clearly, Antonio Gibson is finding himself on a fantastic list of historical running backs, where if we assume that the talent is only going to increase, because we have to keep in mind, he came into the NFL extremely raw. He should be able to continue to develop his skill set and be a better and better running back as we go into 2021. I think that we can confidently say Antonio Gibson is that 3-down workhorse running back for the Washington football team. And now it is down to, do we think we need to be buying? Do we think we need to be selling? What should we be doing with Antonio Gibson? And here, after saying all of these positive things about Antonio Gibson, I do not think we can go out there and buy him. I know that that's going to be really surprising, because I have been the #1 fan of the Antonio Gibson fan club as we have gone through his NFL career up to date. But after that massive performance on Thanksgiving, now everybody else in the fantasy football community is starting to realize, hey, maybe I was an idiot. Maybe it didn't matter that Antonio Gibson was not played at running back at Memphis. Maybe this is a running back that is clearly having every single physical trait that's desired, and he's putting on highlight plays in front of the entire country. So people are starting to take notice. His price is drastically increasing, and I think it's honestly getting to the point where I hate to say it. I thought that I was going to draft Antonio Gibson and have him on our Dynasty fantasy football rosters throughout his entire career. But at this point, I may be looking to sell. And the reasoning behind that is because the Washington football offense. Currently, this Washington team is 4-7, so they have enough wins where they're not going to be able to be in the range for Trevor Lawrence. They're not going to be in consideration for Justin Fields. And clearly, that's going to go to the New York Jets and to the Jacksonville Jaguars. But with Washington, they're kind of in no man's land right now. Clearly, Dwayne Haskins has completely flamed out. I think if you are still holding hope onto Dwayne Haskins for him to turn his NFL career around, I mean, you are just kind of chasing nothing at this point. We are going to see Dwayne Haskins flame out of the NFL. Alex Smith, not a long-term option there. Obviously, we have no real answers in the NFL draft, as the Washington football team have already won 4 games. They're probably going to be picking around pick 10, maybe 11, 12, maybe 8 or 9. But still, they're not going to have that franchise quarterback there that they can select. So without that quarterback piece, what are we going to be expecting from the Washington football team going forward? I mean, I think that it is going to be very difficult to try to project this offense to turn things around, to try to project this offense to even be an average NFL offense. I know it's very dumb for me to say that right after we saw them completely destroy the Dallas Cowboys. So yes, they're always going to have those pop weeks. That's the NFL. It's a short sample. We know that it is very volatile week to week, where there are going to be some instances where they can go out there and completely crush. but more times than not, without an even average quarterback at the NFL level, without having a fantastic offensive line, I think that Antonio Gibson, while he's a talent that I love, and that's why we significantly invested into him in 2020 rookie drafts, I think if we could cash out right now for another running back like a J.K. Dobbins, that's something I would love to do, knowing that the situation in Baltimore is most likely going to be a lot better for J.K. Dobbins in 2021 than Antonio Gibson. If you could trade him plus a small piece for Clyde Edwards-Helaire, it's also something I would love. Keep in mind, guys, this is coming from someone who has Antonio Gibson on so many rosters, and who knows that all of y'all have Antonio Gibson on your rosters as well because of how much we pumped him up this offseason. But this is how you win Dynasty Fantasy Football Leagues. You identify the players that are severely undervalued when people really are looking at the wrong reasonings in their evaluation, and then once everybody kind of realizes where they should be, you cash out for that profit. That's what we have here with Antonio Gibson. So I think we are going to have to mark him as a sell. I hate to say it, but I don't think we can go buy Antonio Gibson at this price with the offense that he plays on. All right. Now, thank you guys. I really hope y'all enjoyed this video. I really hope y'all got something from it. As always, if y'all did, go down there, drop a like, leave a comment, subscribe to the channel. Really, really want to know what you think about Antonio Gibson. And also leave me a comment with what player you want me to discuss next. But yeah, that's all I got. And have a great day, guys.